Hi, it's Jeff from Mattress To Go. I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about the difference between mattress reviews and mattress research. And while one is actually quite beneficial to you, much more so than the other when shopping for a mattress. I'll have people come into the store all the time and say, I've done all my mattress research and I'm ready to go and buy a bed. So I asked them what they looked at and what they read about and where they went for their information. And it turns out that normally what they're doing is they're going on the internet and they're looking at mattress reviews or sites that gather different people's opinions, or different sites where they sell mattresses and give ratings to beds. And there's a big difference between that and actual mattress research. This is mattress research. Maybe a course from the Polyurethane Foam Association where we learn a little bit about how foam is put together, the differences in densities and softness, and the differences in qualities. Or maybe you learn a little bit about how latex foam is put together, or you learn a little bit about steel or how that's put together. The different types of linens and covers that are used in a mattress, or mattress construction techniques. This is actual mattress research. This is not mattress research. 1 out of 5 stars. This bed is too hard and it stinks. That's somebody's opinion. That's a review. And this isn't research as well. You get a 4 out of 5 stars. I got my new bed and it feels great. It's wonderful. That's opinion. That's not research. This is not what you really want to rely upon when looking for a mattress. You want to rely more upon objective information, analysis, and research. And let me explain a little bit about that. The reason we want to focus more on research and analysis as opposed to people's opinions and reviews is that very often these reviews are not objective, and frankly, most of the people offering these reviews are not qualified to render an educated analysis of a mattress, nor to tell you how long that product will last and hold up. I've seen 90% positive approval ratings on companies' websites for a product that's some of the worst in our industry. Low quality foams, poor inner springs, quality of construction is horrible, yet everybody's giving it a thumbs up. Realize that what you see on these websites is tightly controlled by a webmaster, and they're steering you in a certain direction. They want you to buy their product. Some of these websites are sponsored by mattress companies in the background, or by the representatives selling that product, and quite often they'll even post negative feedback on other websites to steer you towards their brand. There's usually some sort of an agenda in the background promoting whether it's a foam product or an inner spring product or a certain brand or an airbed. They want you to buy that thing. Or sometimes they're even in the background promoting the advertisers on their website and giving positive reviews to these products. Some review sites will simply consolidate all the reviews that they see from corporate websites, from buying websites, from other mattress review websites, and then come up with their own formula, attempting to then homologate that and say that this is actual objective research telling you that this is how the bed is because we see what everything is on the web and this is what everybody says about it. But the problem is, if you're taking more of bad information and combining it, that just gives you more bad information. It doesn't make it any better and give any validity to that. In the computer industry, we call this garbage in, garbage out, and that may sound a little harsh, but again, you want to deal with good, objective, educated advice, and just more of bad opinions or unqualified opinions doesn't make the opinions any more valid or useful to you when you're buying a mattress. So why are there so many mattress review sites out there, and why are these people providing these reviews? Well, we know that many of these sites, again, are sponsored by companies and businesses. They want you to see that people are buying their product and they're very happy with the product and how good it makes you feel. And they know that consensus is a very powerful motivator for people. You want to belong to a group, so if you see more people doing something, you're more apt to go along with that and feel good about your purchase. So that's a very strong motivator and a reason that we have these sites. We also know that sometimes people will generally love the product that they buy and they want to tell you about it and how good they feel. A new mattress will make you feel better in the morning and more energized and have a direct impact upon your health. We also know that sometimes people comment and it's a way for them to justify their purchase. They get a little bit of buyer's remorse and they're like, I just spent $6,000 on what? And then they start to think, well, I spent that much money, it must be a really good product. I'm a genius! And they talk about it on the internet. That's a common thing. But we know that it's really more human nature for us to complain about something than to compliment something, and especially with the virtual anonymity that we get with websites, we see that in many different industries. People will complain left and right. And generally in human nature, I've seen different marketing studies, people will complain versus compliment on a 10-to-1 ratio. I even saw one study where it said people will tell 30 different people if they had a negative experience with a business or a product versus one person they'll compliment and tell how much they like the product. So we just know that it's natural for people to complain more than they compliment. But when you look at many of these review sites, it's much more favorable for the positive than the negative. So this sort of goes against, common wisdom, but again, it lets you know that these websites are very tightly controlled by webmasters, and they want you to see what they want you to see to promote their agenda or their product in general. Now, initially, all mattress reviews should be pretty good. I mean, think about it. People are shopping for a bed because their old one stinks. They're not buying one just because it's fun to buy a mattress every year. So even an inexpensive product will be an improvement over a 15-year-old mattress that was lumpy and had springs popping through. But you know what? I can make a very cheap mattress feel good initially in the showroom, but it will perform very poorly in the short and long term in the master bedroom at home. I can have a $400 queen memory foam set here versus a good quality $1,500 one, and in the showroom they'll feel really nice. You take it home, you post a good comment online, I love the bed. I can guarantee you 2 months later that $400 memory foam set probably isn't feeling so hot, and after a year you're ready to toss it out the window. But are you going to go back and post and tell how bad that bed actually performed and give an objective analysis on it? Probably not. You're just going to have your good positive initial feedback about the product. It reminds me of a story about a furniture salesman talking about tables, and he said, listen, I can have 3 different tables here in the store, and initially they're all going to do the job of a table. You can put food on it, you can eat off of it, it does a great job. But one table, after you take it home, after a few months, it's going to be rickety and fall apart, and it's going to be kindling in the fireplace. The second table, after a few years, it'll start to delaminate. It's made of chipboard and eventually won't hold its shape. The third table, you'll pass it down, it'll be solid oak construction, and your kids will have it. So it's the same thing with mattresses. That's why these review sites and opinion sites tend to look at things very initially in the short term, and they're not very accurate representations of how the products are put together and how well they'll hold up over the long term. So in the end, what are mattress review sites really good for? Well, I think they can provide a good snapshot of the reputation of a company or a brand. You can see how well problems were handled if they cropped up. You can get a good idea of the company's selling philosophy. Were you pressured when you came in, or were you allowed to ask questions, and were you given good objective research, or were you chased out the door and they tried to force you to buy something that was very expensive? Was the shopping environment clean? Did they have a good large selection, or were things strewn about? These are all important things to consider, because I think the reputation of the store you visit is just as important as the product you buy, because it lets you know that you can trust the information that's being presented to you, and it'll help you make a good informed purchase decision. Even if you see a review on a website that says, well, this bed is too hard, it stinks. That's not the fault of the mattress. It means that these people were suggested a product that was inappropriate for their specific health characteristics, and in a roundabout way that lets you know of the quality or lack of training of the comfort consultants that work at that store. So in the end, are all these mattress review sites lousy? No, I'm not saying that at all. Actually, there are a few really good objective ones out there that are not backed by anybody within the industry. Their only goal is to provide you with research and analysis to help you make an informed purchase. What I am telling you is that most of them are not worth your time. You need to do your own due diligence. Look at who owns the site. Are they always promoting a certain brand or product, or are they always disparaging other brands and in a roundabout way pushing you towards their type of product? These are all important things to consider. Remember, this is research. Courses from the Polyurethane Foam Association, learning about how mattresses are made, watching teardown videos on how they perform over time, learning about rollator and durability tests, watching my Beducation videos. This is all a good way to learn about mattresses, and this is research, not reviews and opinions. And you combine that with the reputation of a quality store, and it will help you make a good, informed mattress buying decision. And that's the difference between mattress research and mattress reviews and opinions.